My wife and I had a bad and stupid habit of not locking the door behind us. Coming home, you go to work there, and find that you slept all night with the door unlocked. The showdown begins. Who came in last and who is more to blame? One time the front door opened at night from a strong draft and started slamming. We were pretty scared that time, but the habit never went away. But then something happened that got us into the habit of locking the door for good, and gosh darn it, I'm seriously considering the idea of a real deadbolt. My house is my fortress, as they say, and what's the use of walls if the gate is open? And that night I didn't sleep for a long time. Suddenly I decided to check the front door. I was too lazy to get up, but the urge was compulsive and irresistible. I wandered down the hallway, tried pushing the door, and sure enough, it wasn't locked again. I turned the top key 4 turns and for some reason did the same with the second, bottom key, which we never used at all. Then I took literally 2 steps toward the room when I heard unusual noises outside the door. It felt like someone was running their palms across the door and, on the other side, groping it, as if they had hit an obstacle with someone and were trying to figure out what it was. Suddenly, startled out of my wits, I turned around with the intention of at least looking through the peephole. I got close to the door and noticed that the knob began to turn up and down as if trying to open the door. Then there was a strange, unrhythmic knocking sound. I was suddenly cold, my heart ached. Not fear or horror, but some black longing, a fashionable, incomprehensible anxiety crept into my soul. I didn't want to look through the peephole. Quietly I began to walk around the room. My wife was awake and was about to say something. I asked her to be quiet, and she immediately realized that something was wrong. Her eyes rounded. I should say that I have one device that I almost never used, namely, a video camera looking at the site and connected to the computer. We watched it, played with it a couple times, and forgot about the camera. But now I remembered it. I sat down at the computer and ran the image from the playground. I don't know what it was, but I saw it, and my wife saw it. Something wrapped in some dark rags, bending and wiggling unnaturally, wandered across the set, scrabbling at the door and pulling the handles. It crouched and listened to the sounds in the apartments. The creature's head was also wrapped in rags. Sticking out of the rags were dark hands, long and narrow, with equally unnaturally long fingers. Several more times something came to my door and pestered it for long periods of time. My wife's heart seemed to stop. Tears flowed, and she clutched at the fabric to keep from making a sound. Then the thing crawled away. It was July dawn outside. If we lived in the country, it would have been the first roosters. After another hour we came to our senses. I wish my wife had seen it. She is still recovering and I can see she is still very scared. Yesterday she asked me to change the apartment. I can, it's rented anyway. And I don't feel comfortable here anymore. I keep thinking what would have happened if I hadn't locked the door. They would have found us with our entrails disassembled and blood running down the walls. Or like they do in horror movies, huddled in a corner with our faces twisted in mortal terror. I don't know, I don't want to know. All I can say is always lock your doors at night.